Good evening, everybody. Good evening. On this hump day, I know people are probably getting ready to go to bed or whatever, but I just wanted to get this, this little message off before it disappears. So, as always, I give everybody time to get themselves together if they're coming. If not, I'll start in a couple of minutes. Water, yep. Once again, good evening. So let's just get to it, right? Today, I'm going to talk about how obedience is your sacrifice, right? So pretty much when people think of obedience, they thinking about, a higher authority or, being afraid of, an authoritative figure, a mom, a dad, a school teacher, or things of that level. But there is, you know, a phrase that's with obedience is, and obedience to be to be in accordance with, right? So when I say obedience is your sacrifice, I'll give you an example. So if you are being obedient to your goal, right? Let's just say your goal is to make $100. So your sacrifice would be not to, waste any time to figure out to draw up your mental map on how to make said $100. So you're gonna have to give up certain things. The sacrifice will be the how much time that you're not putting into anything but that goal, right? Because you understand that you are in fear of not making that goal, right? So if you understand you have to make that $100, you're gonna go out there and do what you need to do and not play around with it, but strive to get to that goal of $100. A lot of us have set goals, excuse me, for whatever it was, whether it was, to be rich, to be healthy, to be any of those things, right? So let's just take the health portion, right? Your goal is to be obedient to your goal of being healthy, you would have to sacrifice certain foods. You would have to sacrifice the sweets. You would have to sacrifice the sodas, the chips, the cookies, the donuts, and start eating healthier. Because if you understand your goal, you know the sacrifice is you're gonna put away something that you love to do but wasn't good for you in order for you to reach that goal. So you got to give those things up. So what are we gonna do to be obedient to the goal? What are we gonna do to make our finish line, which is the goal? Are we going to be able to give up the sweets as far as the health? Or are we just going to continue to do what we do? And we understand if we continue to do what we do, we we already know that's a dead end. So we have to understand by being obedient to what our goal is, we got to stop being on dead end streets. We got to make sure the path is clear enough. So we may have to make detours. So instead of you eating a bag of chips, you decide to snack on an apple, right? Just so you can meet your goal of being healthy. So those are the things that you have to do in order for you to get to where you need to go as far as your obedience to your goal. The sacrifices that you have to put away the things that you're not used to. If you want to be great, you're going to have to put more time and effort into whatever great skills that you want to have. You're going to have to say, you know what? I can't just sit down and watch my favorite TV show. I got to be obedient to my goal of greatness, and I have to keep working on my craft. That means I have to put all those other things to the side because I'm trying to reach my goal of greatness. So if you're going to be obedient in accordance to your goal, because you fear that if you don't reach your greatness, you're going to be just another person. So you got to do what you need to do in order to go forward with it. Because if you don't, you'll be one of those people that'll fail before it even starts. But how do we gain the obedience? The obedience, how do we gain it is that we got to stand firm on what the goal is, whatever it is. We got to make that the priority into what we going to do. Because if we go into it and not believing that and believing that we're gonna fail, we're not like it's like a prenup. You people get married with a prenup because they already some of them understand that this ain't gonna work, so they already have a plan B. But when you are going into your obedience to your goal, there is no plan B. That should be the plan, the way, the goal. A lot of the times I know I say write the vision and make it plain because if you write the vision, you can if you write it, you can see it visually. And if you can see it visually, you might be paying so much attention that you'll be able to see that you may have to make detours in your plan. You may have to reroute it. You may have to do it. But the goal is still the same, is to make that vision, make it make it happen. And a lot of us, like I said, we always turn around and do the first step, and then as soon as we fall, we give up. We gotta get rid of that give up mentality because the goal is always worth it. So if it's like I need to get me a job. So your goal should be getting your job. So the first thing you gotta do is you gotta write your resume. You gotta you gotta write it up, you gotta polish it up enough to where somebody can understand it. Then second thing that you gotta do is you gotta be prepared as far as your attire. You can't go to no job interview. Hey Marissa, good evening. You can't go to a job in sweats and sneakers and a t-shirt. You got to be properly attired for it, right? But if you don't understand that, you're just you're not going to understand it. But you have to understand it because it's about your goal. So if you're serious about getting that job, you're going to have to learn how to wear your slacks or wear your suit. You got to learn how to make yourself tie a tie if you don't know how to do that already, right? You have to be presentable. You have to be able to stand in front of somebody physically ready to make that job. The next thing that you got to do, you got to be able to be confident enough to speak in a tone that the employer can understand you. Don't go in there being so nervous that you talking with your hands and doing all those things, right? So once you understand your goal, you will sacrifice everything else besides that, right? So you know you need that job. You know you ain't gonna be sitting there playing a video game when you know you got to prepare for a job interview. You're going to be not be on YouTube or Facebook or social media in general when you know you got to get yourself ready for said job interview. Your obedience will turn into your sacrifice, right? Because once you understand that your goal is in front of you and you know that you got to do what you got to do, everything else that you used to want to do is irrelevant in your life, right? So those are the things that you got to do, and that goes for whatever goal that you looking at, whatever vision that you want to accomplish, whatever dream you want to come true. You got to sacrifice the things that don't matter or don't match up with it. If you want to be a person that want to be positive, you got to sacrifice all the negative nonsense that's around you, right? If you gonna sit there and say, not to be, holy. I love the Lord. So if you love the Lord, you're going to do the things of the Lord. You're going to not sit there and say, you know what? I ain't going to sit here. I ain't going to sit here and talk to the people on the block all day because I'm trying to get closer to God, right? If you know the opposites, they're two opposites. I know they attract, but they're not attracting you to your goal. So you have to be away from them people to understand that once you start to draw away from them, you are now focusing on your goal, which will make you obedient to your goal. So if you want to be close to that situation, you're gonna be there. You're gonna say, you know what? I don't have time to sit there and have this conversation with you right now. I gotta go get myself together. And that's just the way it goes. For those that are having mental health issues, you're gonna have to find a way to make, if you trying to get rid of it, you have to get away from that environment that's helping you stay within that mental health situation. If you if you trying to get away from, lackadaisical people, you gotta be around people that's doing something with their lives. And that's gonna keep you away from those people that keep you lackadaisical. The sacrifices that you ain't gonna be around them no more, all because you want something better. And that's what you have to do in order to get to your goal of whatever it is. Because if you become obedient to it, you understand that I don't want to be this way no more. I am so worried about this end result. I don't like that result that I was just in. So you're going to do whatever you can. You're going to be obedient to whatever you draw up. You're going to go and keep going with it until it say, you know what, I can't do this. I mean, until you reach your goal, because you already know the end result. The end result is what you just left. And that's the sacrifice that you're making, because you don't want to be that person anymore, because you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of whatever that role was before you. If you depressed, you want to be around happy people. And how do you stay and how do you stay around the happy people is that you don't go back to what kept you depressed. You don't go back into what made you feel a certain way. Good evening, Diane. You don't go back into those situations because you have now turned your goal, you made that your focal point. So you're gonna be obedient to your goal. And if you're obedient to your goal, the sacrifice is going to be just the opposite of what wasn't your goal. If you decide that you want to be, if you decide you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a homeowner, right? Let's just go with that. You want to be a homeowner, right? So what do? You save up your money, right? You go ahead, you build your credit, you save up your money, and you go ahead and get a pre-approval. Once you get your pre-approval, now you can go ahead and start looking for a home. Once you look for the home, you put your money down, you sign the closing. Now you're a homeowner. What was your sacrifice? Your sacrifice was you making sure that you had the finances. You probably cut back on outdoor dining, going out to eat. You probably cut down on going out to the movies. You probably cut down on going to amusement parks with your children as often as you once did, right? Because you understand to reach your goals, you got to be obedient to the plan. The plan was for you to to get the home, right? You got tired of paying somebody else's mortgage. Now you going to pay your own mortgage. And if you got kids, the goal will then be to leave this for your children. So once you do that, you decide I'm not paying nobody else's mortgage anymore. The sacrifices that you put in, like I said, not going out to dinner with your companion, or taking the kids out to whatever amusement park is around you. Excuse me. You made that sacrifice because you was being obedient to your goal. You was in accordance to your goal to get that house. So that way you and your family could have something that you can call your own. So you're going to get rid of certain things. You ain't going to do what you used to do, even though it may have been fun, even though it kept a smile on your face, even if it kept your relationship anew. That goal of you getting that home, you sacrifice that. And once you accomplish it, you'll say it's worth it. So those are the things, that's what I mean by your obedience is your sacrifice. Because once you become focused on the goal, you're gonna be obedient to it. If you want a promotion at your job, you ain't gonna sit there and be out for a whole hour of lunch. You probably sit at the office, you probably sit at your desk or wherever you working at and eat there and just stay focused on how to get that promotion, how to, elevate your job. So you're not going to be the sacrifice there is that you're not taking a whole hour off for yourself. You're trying to embed yourself, empower yourself so you can be seen as a qualified person to get the promotion. You see what I mean? Your goal made you obedient to how to get to that goal. The sacrifices you're going to take away from something that you really need to do, that you used to do, not need to, but what you used to do, what you like to do. We going back to health. You know, how do I get my health back? Some people want to be healthy, so what they got to do? Some people give up drinking. Some people give up smoking. That's their sacrifice because they understand that that is not that's not productive of them becoming healthy. It's counterproductive. So they're going to be obedient. Okay. So you know how people used to say if you chew bubble gum, that keeps you away from smoking. So that's what people would do. They would chew bubble gum all day, right? Because they don't want to smoke no more. They trying to get themselves up to health. If you want to lose weight, you'll stop putting the food in, and then you'll start doing exercises. Right? You probably start walking for half an hour. You may go sign up for a gym. To do cardio and put muscle on your body. But the more calories that you burn, you can't replace it by eating the stuff that puts it back there. It's counterproductive because you're being obedient to your goal. Every one of us have to be obedient to the goal. The question is, what is your goal? What are you shooting for to be obedient to? If you trying to be, trying to be in a healthy relationship, you're gonna do you. If you get into a healthy relationship, right? You're not gonna be around those single people that want to go to the club and go hang out on the weekends because those are the days that you probably want to spend with your new significant other or whoever you're dating, however you want to call that. And if you're married, you're not going to be around single people. You're going to be around married people because you all have to be like-minded. You have to be around like-minded people in order for you to get to reach your goal. So you're not going to be with the people that is counterproductive of you, even though that's what you used to like to do. That's the sacrifice to your goal. That's you being obedient to your goal. And when you become obedient, The sacrifice is going to happen at the same time. You're going to have to give something up. If you love somebody, right? You're going to have to give yourself. You're not going to do more for yourself if you love said individual. That's like saying, I got kids, I'm going to do more for me than I am for my kids. That's counterproductive. That's not even loving your kids, because your kids should be the important thing. If they're your goals, that's who you're going to work for. You're going to strive for them. If you're married, you're going to strive for your spouse. Excuse me, because there you put them ahead of you, so you are literally sacrificing yourself to make sure that those other people are well off, your spouse, your children, your family. That's you being obedient to your cause or your goal. But we as the people, we have selfish tendencies, so we don't understand why we have to be obedient and sacrifice at the same time. We so busy worrying about me, 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 me. It's not about you. And even if you're trying to embed yourself, you still got to sacrifice something. You still gonna have to be obedient to that. How do I embed myself? How do I become a better me? Well, I got to stop doing what kept me from being a better me in the first place. Whether it was, if I was young, I was playing a video game. If I was in my 20s, I would do things that would not allow me to go to work. I was putting things ahead of my job or whatever the case may be. You got to be obedient to what your goal is. Whatever your goal is, you got to set your goal, but you got to be obedient to it. And when you become obedient to it, the sacrifices is going to happen because you're obedient to your goal. Like I said, if you're going to be great, you gotta sit there and say, how do I make myself great? Okay, if I'm going to be great as a school teacher, I got to understand that I don't have time to worry about anything that's not educational. So you'll sit there and you'll look at your math book, look at your English books. You study your lesson plan. You'll be making your lesson plan. Only until you get that done, then if you got time, you can go ahead and do whatever it is that you're free to do. You don't put that free stuff before the education, because if you do, you won't reach your goal of being a great teacher or an outstanding teacher or even a good one. Because if you putting your extracurricular stuff before your job, you won't you won't even reach your goal of being a good teacher or whatever your goal is. If you putting extracurricular stuff ahead of what you want to be good at, you ain't being obedient to what you want to be good at, because you ain't sacrificing nothing in order for you to get to your better you. And that's what we have to do as a whole. We have to be obedient. We have to be obedient to the goal, whatever your goal is. If you want to learn how to drive, right? You got to sit there. You got teenagers. You got to teach them how to drive. You got to sit there and let them read the book. Okay, you read the book. No, we can't watch TV. We're not going to watch Love and Hip Hop. We gonna study this manual, so that way you can get your permit. Once you get your permit, now we got to make sure you stay on top of your game. We got to sit here. Got to learn how to park. We got to learn how to put the shift into drive. How to step on the brake. We got to learn all of this stuff in order to get licensed. We can't just turn around. Okay, we got a permit, and then we could just fall back, because you're gonna be stuck with a permit. You're not gonna get to the goal of getting your license. We can't put these. We gotta sacrifice time to understand that we gotta reach our driver's license. Those are the things that we have to do. We gotta be obedient to the goal, and whatever sacrifices we make is gonna be because we're trying to get to the goal. We have nothing else to. There's nothing else to it. We don't have time to play with anything else, because if we're going to get to the goal, first of all, tomorrow's not promised to us, so we might as well keep going with it. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have free time. That doesn't mean you're not going to have the fun that you used to have. It just means you won't have the fun as frequent as you did before, because you put your goal You made your goal a priority. You become obedient to your goal. So you're going to lose that free time. You're going to lose those extra activities to accomplish your goals because you now you make their goal. You're being obedient to your goal. There's nothing wrong with that. We got to get out of the mind. We got to get out of the mindset that we got to follow the Joneses. In order to be great, you got to step outside your box. You got to step outside of that place of reality. We don't want to be the normal people no more. If you're striving to get six figures, you got to put something to the side to make sure you can get them six figures. And a lot of that's going to be time, friends, relationships, because those opportunities don't come but so much. But you're going to have to make that a part. You're going to have to be obedient to that goal of you wanting to make six figures. Does that mean you get to go out as much as you used to? Absolutely, it don't. It does not. Does it mean that you got to stay focused on whatever you drew up in your goal? Absolutely. So how are we gonna get there? You ain't just gonna get there by sitting there batting your eyes or sitting there and looking handsome. You got to put the work in. And in order for you to put the work in, you're sacrificing time that you did with the other foolishness that you was doing, whether it's partying, hanging out, whatever it was. You now have become obedient to your goal. So the sacrifice will follow it because of your obedience to your goal. And that's all it is. Whatever it is, like I said, it may not be money. It may just be health. Like I said, mental health, physical health, emotional health. I'm trying to get over. I'm trying to get over my last relationship. So what do you do? Okay, I'm not going to sit there and look at these pictures of what we used to do, me and this person. I'm not going to sit there and listen to our favorite song. I'm going to sit there and say, yo, what do I need to improve on? What did I do? Shout out to the word, right? Because the word says, listen, you got to be accountable and responsible. So if you're going to be accountable and responsible in a relationship, you got to say, what did I do? What is my role in the downfall of my relationship? Okay, so you're going to turn around and improve yourself. If you was, non-communicative, you're going to find a way. Yo, I got to be a little more open with my talking to my next potential partner. If you not, if you're not touchy feely, you're gonna have to find a way to improve that for your next relationship. You're not just gonna sit there and say, "Well, I don't need to change because that was their fault." If you do, your relationships are always going to be the same because you're not holding yourself accountable. One, and you not improving yourself, which should be your goal, because now you got to understand I need to do something. If you become obedient to your improvement, all of those things that you did before will fall to the wayside. It's not about you. So the sacrifice is once again you doing something that you used to like to do, but you're not doing it anymore to reach your goal. So those are the things that we need to do going forward. Like I said, the question is, what is it that you want? What is it? What is your goal that you want to be obedient to? Those are the things that you got to ask yourself. You got to turn around and say, how do I improve myself? How do I stay on track with my goal? You got to be obedient to it. If you make that a priority, the steps to reaching your goal a priority, you're gonna be obedient to it, and then you're gonna throw everything else by the wayside, right? You're trying to save up money for a car. So what you gonna do? You're gonna bust your tail. You're not gonna spend money on foolish stuff. If you're trying to buy a car, you ain't gonna sit there and go buy you a $1,500 purse, or you're not gonna buy you $300 sneakers every paycheck. You trying to reach your goal. If you become obedient to it, all right, I can last in these sneakers for a few more months. I can last in these clothes a few more months until I reach my goal. Until you understand once, because if your obedience is there, you're gonna reach it. So you're gonna have to sacrifice whatever it is. You ain't gonna be being fresh to death anymore. You ain't gonna be walking around with the pretty purse that you once wanted. If your car's the goal, you know you got to save up money for it. So you got to take away that something that you like. You got to sacrifice it in order to reach your goal. Become obedient to that goal, not to fear, not to fear the not to fear the goal, but to fear what what you ain't gonna get. Fear that. Hey CC, hey Cheeky, make your goal right. Make your goal, and then make it a priority. Be obedient to said goal. You know, like you know, you got to do what you got to do. Cheeky is great at her history. What if she was to say, you know what, I could do something better? So what's she gonna do? She gonna go ahead and research, right? She gonna make that. She gonna be obedient to her channel. So she's gonna do the research that she need to do. What she ain't gonna do is she ain't gonna just sit back in her chair like, well, it's gonna come to me. No, she's gonna go and do what she needs to do to get it. She making that a priority, and she gonna be obedient to her channel. So she gonna sacrifice some time. She ain't just gonna sit there and just watch whatever she want to watch. She gonna do the research. Research takes time. She whatever time that she had that was free, she probably gonna turn around and do it for research for her channel. And those are the things that you got to do because she making that the priority, and she's gonna be obedient to her priority, her goal, and that's how she's gonna get to. That's why she is who she is. That's why her content is always great because she stays with it. She's doing the things that she needs to do by being obedient to her goal, which is being the content creators that she wants to be. No, I'm not reading your mind. I'm just like I said, I've been holding on to this all day. But see, like me, right? I'll give you a perfect example, right? I got a habit of trying to, bring everybody together, right? That I told you already. I believe that this is my season of harmony, trying to put everything together, try to have everybody on one accord, one note. Hey, cuz, right? So what I was doing was I was being so obedient to the goal, but I wasn't sacrificing nothing. So if I'm trying to be harmonious to everybody here, I gotta make time for myself to gather myself in order to be the harmonizer. Because I'm not sacrificing my time to do that, I feel like I'm not doing the best that I can, or because I'm not being obedient to my season, which is to be the best person that I could be in order to bring people together. You see what I mean? And until I sacrifice my time to do my goal, to be obedient to my goal, is not going to work the way that I want. And that goes for each and every one of us, right? That's why we got to make sure that our goal, that our obedience automatically goes to the sacrificing of our time. If we don't do that, we're going to be hitting walls all over the place. We're going to be on dead end streets every time we make a turn because we're not giving up nothing. We're not sacrificing nothing to be obedient to our goal. What is your goal to be obedient to? You know what I mean? Like I joke with Cece all the time. Like Cece, it's time, it's time. But if she's not ready to do it, she's not going to be willing to sacrifice to that. You see what I mean? So in order for her to be obedient, she to whatever she wants to her channel to be, she's gonna have to sacrifice some things. That's gonna be her mission in life in order for her to open up her channel or start her channel rather. But it all depends on us. What is our goal to be obedient to? You know what I mean? Like, Miss Coco BX, you know, she's trying to be the best her. She's sacrificing so much. Now, so all of a sudden, she got to turn around. She got to slow down a little bit, but she's still going to be obedient to who she is. She's going to be obedient to going to be that helping person that she says she is. She's going to be, she's doing everything she can, but she has to make time for it because she can't be running around, you know, taking care of A, B, and C, and then still be helping the people. She's gonna make the time for it. I want to incorporate AI to my channel. Just haven't figured out how yet, but I will eventually. So there you go. That's gonna be cheeky. That's gonna be your goal, right? So now you're gonna say, you know what? You're gonna focus more on the AI as well as your current channel. As far as your history study, you're gonna focus. You're gonna put a little bit more time into that. So now you're gonna sacrifice even more time into your AI because you're gonna be obedient to your goal. Now you want to know how to put AI into it. So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna sacrifice some time because you're being obedient to your goal. And that's all I'm saying to everybody. Urban, good evening. You got to be obedient to your goal. When you become obedient to your goal, you're going to sacrifice something. You're going to sacrifice, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's places that you normally go, whatever it is. When you become obedient to your goal, a sacrifice is going to take place. You can guarantee, you can book it. That's just exactly what's going to happen. Y'all going to turn around and then just y'all see the sacrifice. Like, yo, I don't do what I used to do, right? I'm not just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. I'm always active. I'm always busy. Why? Because you're doing the goal. You being obedient to your goal, and now you focus so much on your goal that you don't have time to do nothing else. You don't have time to do the lollygagging that you once did. You don't have that. So then that's what it becomes then. It becomes that. So once it becomes that, you'll see the sacrifice. But we have to understand we got to stay focused on the goal. We have to be more obedient to the goal than anything else. Follow your goal. What is your goal? Be obedient to it. The sacrifice will come right after that. Yeah, you gotta stay. You gotta stay vigilant. You gotta do your due diligence, because if you don't, you're gonna. It's not gonna work the way that you want it to work. You might get something accomplished, but it ain't gonna be at its tip top shape, right? Like, you can build a house, but if you understand you ain't taking the time, you got a whole bunch of extra nails. The house will stand up for a while, but you wasn't being patient. You wasn't taking your time. You just rushed the house. Now when the house falls and you got all these nails scattered all over the place, it's because you didn't sacrifice your time to take it. Take your time. And that's the thing that we like to do. Some people may call it shortcuts. I'm saying if that is a short, all don't take the shortcut. Take the route. Y'all know if you got to drive for 4 hours, drive for 4 hours. Don't try to find the route to go. Oh, well, we could go around here and be there 3.5 hours. You might hit a detour. I mean, you might hit a dead end on that detour that you decided to take on your own. You wasn't even being obedient to the map that was given to you. But then you're going to complain about it because you didn't want to sacrifice that half an hour. That half an hour was so important to you. You found a detour, and now you lost. Not only did you lose a half an hour, you lost more time because now you got to go all the way around the detour. Be obedient to be obedient to your goals, whatever it is. You want to be the best. Be obedient to being the best. You're going to have to sacrifice something, absolutely. But if you don't, if you try to take a shortcut, you could be at a high level for a minute, but you won't be at your best because you took a shortcut. Don't take the shortcuts, everybody. Shortcuts ain't for everybody, right? You got to do some crazy things. You got to do crazy things once you take a shortcut. Be on a positive obedience, not the destructive one, because we know there's plenty of people that like to be obedient to the wrong things. We ain't trying to go that route. We ain't rushing. What you in a rush for? Take your time. What they say, slow and steady wins the race. So if slow and steady wins the race, what are we rushing for? If slow and steady is going to get us to our goal, why are we rushing to get to the goal? The goal is still going to be there. Just stay on course. And what I'm saying is be obedient to the course. Stay there. Follow it through. Push it through. Yeah, there's gonna be bumper bruises. I'd be lying if I told you there wouldn't be. But if you stay the course, you stay obedient to the course, you will get to the finish line. There's no need to do the shortcuts. All right, you can do that if you want to. You may get there faster, but it may not last for long. So is it worth the shortcut if it don't last for long? Right? You know, well, let me tell you something. We know people in the streets. We know they get that money fast. But is it worth it if they go to jail? If they is it worth it if somebody comes and robs them? Is it worth it? It if they lose all that money, you're gonna lose all that money if you go to jail. Is it worth it? You can't put it. You're not putting it in the bank. You ain't gonna do none of that. No, the shortcut ain't the fast money ain't always the best money, and neither is the shortcut. But if you stay on course, if you be obedient to your goal, the sacrifice will be worth it. It will be worth it if you stay on course. And so that's all we have to do is stay on course. Be obedient to the course. Be obedient to your goal. That's all we got to do. If we do that, your reward will come to you and it will be on solid ground because you don't have to look back. You took your time, you planned it, you mapped it, you sacrificed for it. You knew what you had to do to get to where you needed to go. There won't be no extra nails in your building because you was obedient to the goal. That's all I'm saying to you guys. Be obedient to the goal and the sacrifice will be well worth it. I know, we live in a microwave society. I get it. But if slow and steady wins the race, there's nothing wrong with being obedient to your goal. Follow it. Don't try to take the shortcut. It may be easy, but it won't be rewarding. The grass ain't always greener after the shortcut. All that glitters isn't gold after the shortcut. Take your time. I know somebody's gonna say, well, tomorrow's not promised. I get that too. But if you're doing your best, you will see tomorrow. If you on course, if you taking care of the course, if you taking care of the goal of being obedient, you will see it through. I'm not going to make that promise. As a matter of fact, I challenge y'all to go ahead and stay obedient to your goals without taking the shortcut. Y'all let me know if y'all get to it or not, and y'all tell me if it's going to be worth it if you don't take the shortcuts. Stop taking shortcuts. I get it. I'm from New York. There'll be alleyways that go through blocks, but every time you go through that alleyway, you don't know where it may pop out. You may pop out a stray dog, a stray cat. Well, we worried about dogs. The dog gonna chase you, right? That's because we took the shortcut. If we go the regular route, if we turn those corners, go to the corner, make a right or left, going where we need to go, we can see what's in front of us. Cause you know what I'm talking about, them damn stray dogs. You know that Bronx thing looking like. You know what I'm talking about. Stop taking those shortcuts. It ain't always good. Atmosphere, good evening. Stop taking those shortcuts. Slow and steady. I promise you, take your time. You're gonna get there. Atmosphere, I'm ready for you, bro. I'm kind of excited for you, man. I'm ready to see this new channel. Y'all get ready to sub up the Atmosphere to our new chef. Y'all sub up to him, right? But that's what I'm saying. He took his time. Even Atmosphere, he took his time, right? He took his time. We was all rushing him. He got himself ready. Now he's getting ready to start his channel, all because he was obedient to his goal. And the sacrifice was we wasn't seeing him as much. We could see him, but he's saying he was in the bushes because he was preparing for the channel, and we gonna accept that, right? So that's why I'm saying if we stay the course, if we be obedient to the goal, The sacrifice is going to be worth it. Every one of us here is going to do great things because we stand obedient to the goal. Just stay the course, everybody. I promise you. I said I wasn't gonna promise you. Y'all try it and see what happens. Stop laughing so much, man. Ain't you tired? Stay the course. Be obedient to the goal. You know what I mean? Everybody understands what I'm saying because everybody had a journey to take. Everybody took the shortcut. Realists, what's happening? Good evening. Everybody took that shortcut. They saw the shortcut. They said, damn, I had to turn around and stay the course. Because the shortcut ain't always the best way. It's not. It's up to you. If you gonna be the best, you don't take the shortcut. If you want your point to get across, don't shortcut it. Take your time, get your words together, then go ahead and do what you gotta do. Everybody here got a channel for the most part. We ain't taking no shortcuts. We got to do the research. We got to do the studying. Okay, what we gonna talk about? Okay, how we gonna make it make sense? Oh, we just gonna freestyle it. Some people freestyle and it come out good, but everybody's not a freestyler. Some people got to take their time. You're gonna take your time. You're gonna come up with an idea. You're gonna prepare yourself for the idea, and then you're gonna go ahead and push live and have a conversation. You're gonna put your content out. But you ain't just gonna do it off the willy-nilly. If you do, you may get some good feedback, but 9 times out of 10, you rushed it so much that it ain't gonna be to your liking. To your liking. Never mind everybody else, to your liking. But if you stay obedient to the goal, whatever that goal is, you will get the results you want. Just try it. And if I'm wrong, y'all know what y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna tell me I'm wrong anyway. Y'all probably tag me like, yo, bust it. You was you was way off base. But if you win, you ain't gotta do nothing but say, yo, hey, I tried it and it worked. Don't give me no credit because you did the work. You took that time. You made that sacrifice of taking the time to do what you need to do. You stayed on course. You was obedient to your goal. Nobody gets that credit but you, because you made the sacrifices. I'm just telling you. I'm just making a suggestion. If you follow the suggestion and it works, that's on you. You get the victory. I don't get the victory. You get it because you did the work. And that's all we can do. We got to do the work. I can't do the work for you. Jiggy can't do the work for me. Willis can't do the work for Atmosphere. Miss Coco BX can't do the work for CC. I can't do the work for Diane. We got to put that work in. Once you put that work in, once you stay obedient to the goal, I'm telling y'all know it. I've been talking about the word a lot lately because I've been listening to him. I've been watching his replays and stuff. He doing what he needs to do. He's obedient to his goal. Now he's at, his numbers is elevating because he's obedient to his goal. Everybody that's coming up, they're obedient to their goal. They're staying focused on their channel. They're staying focused on their content. They became obedient to their content. They're sacrificing the time of a certain person live. I'll catch the replay. It's the same thing that you and I could be doing right now because we're all focusing on our goal. We're staying obedient to our goal. What is your goal? What are you going to be obedient? What is your goal and how are you going to be obedient to it? Those are the questions that you need to ask, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's everyday real life, 9-to-5 work, household situations, relationship situations, whatever it is. What is your goal and how are you going to be obedient to it? Because if you do those two, you will understand that the sacrifice will come right behind those two things. You can book that. And then if it works for you, like I said, congratulations. You did the work. I had nothing to do with that. I'm just asking y'all, what is your goal and how you going to be obedient to the goal? The answer should be I'm going to sacrifice whatever free things that I got to said goal because I'm going to be obedient to it. That's that's for you guys to decide. I don't know what your goals are. I don't know if you're going to be obedient to it. I know if you do those things, I am pretty sure that this is going to work in your favor. You understand? If you let that anger go, if you be obedient to happiness, you're going to have to let that anger go. You're going to sacrifice that anger, even though that's a negative thing. Some people like those negative things. But if they give it up for happiness, they're going to be happy. They're going to be at peace. They will feel the weight of the world come off their shoulders because they finally decided to let go of that anger. They finally letting go of that thing that oppressed them and suppressed them. They found a new freedom because they was obedient to their goal of being happy. Miss Coco BX, she says it all the time. I had to let this go because this was holding me back. So she was being obedient to being free, free from the demons of whatever situation that was holding her back. Y'all check her out if y'all want to know the story. Y'all sub up or whatever. But she'll tell you she had to be free of that. So she had to literally take that weight off her shoulder just so she could be free and move around. She was obedient to the goal of this is not going to win. I will not let this hold me back. That was her being obedient to the fact that she wanted to be free. And only because she wanted to be free, she let go of that negative weight. She sacrificed that. She could have held on to it, but she wouldn't have been free. She wouldn't be the person that she is. She wouldn't be the kind person that she is. She wouldn't be the giving person that she is. Even though, like I said, even when you get to that goal, it don't mean a nigga won't try you. It won't mean a chick won't try you. But if you stay obedient, you stay on course, you can brush that off like that's nothing. I'm still gonna win. People took my kindness for a weakness. I'm still gonna win. People tried me. I want to punch you in your face. But this new me, I had to put that old me away. I had to sacrifice that old me because I'm still gonna win. That's how we gotta approach this. Whatever it is. People gonna steal your content. I'm still gonna win. They can't do it like I do it. You understand what I'm saying? That's how we gotta approach it. Stay obedient to your goal. Because if they ain't talking about you, you ain't doing something right. So stay the course. Stay obedient to the goal. The sacrifice will come. I promise. I'm telling y'all. Just try it. Just try it. It ain't gonna cost you nothing. Well, it's gonna cost you some time that you're gonna have to sacrifice. But if you're winning, who cares? It'll be well worth it. We sacrifice for the wrong things. Why not sacrifice to be obedient to the goal that we have for this year, or this season, or going forward, whatever y'all want to call it? Let's do that. Let's go with that. So like I said, we all can do it. There's no doubt about it. The question is, are you willing to sacrifice to meet your goal? Be obedient to it. Be obedient to the goal and sacrifice. That's what I have for y'all this evening. I'd like to thank y'all for showing up. Thank you to Miss Coco BX, Atmosphere, Realist, uh, Diane, CC, Gigi, my cougar girls, Urban. I appreciate you, and anybody else that's going to catch the replay. I truly appreciate it. I, I believe that if you apply this to your everyday situation, that it's going to work in your favor. So with that being said, I'm gonna end this live. Like I said, thank y'all for showing up. If y'all hit the like button, that'll be much appreciated. With that being said, y'all Y'all have a dang. It's 12 o'clock. Y'all have a good morning. May your new day be better than it was today. With that being said, I'm out.